Hi, so today's video, inside out abundance. So it turns out that money is such a hot topic that people are more embarrassed or uncomfortable about talking about money than they are about their sex life. So I thought, now that's a subject worth bringing up from the darkness. My metaphysical training has been all about whatever is lurking in the dark, we bring it to the light. Because unless we bring it to the light, there's nothing we can do about it. We want to look at it, we want to heal it, we want to move on from it. So if it's a topic that's in the darkness, it really needs to come to the light. And so it's an important topic. I mean, it's important for me as well, because I went from earning big bonuses in the financial world to taking the resources I had and putting it all in what I felt was coming from the inside of me and what I was wanting to bring out and what I was wanting to share with the world. So it's a subject that has been also on my mind as I lay the foundations for the business that I want to create. So let's look at money and what it represents. Money is essentially energy. It is an exchange of service for reward. So where we add value, we are rewarded. Where we are putting our energy, chances are we're bringing that equation round and the money is coming round. Now, there are two ways of creating. There's a way of creating where the money comes into our life, but it doesn't necessarily stick. The money comes and it isn't used for our most magnificent life. And there's another way of bringing money into our life where our purposes are aligned with the purposes of life, and in which case the money coming in shines. It's a money that sticks, that is basically belongs with us, and where we feel worthy of it, and where we use it for the good of the world, and where it is essentially a channel flowing from life to encourage whatever it is that we are wanting to bring about into the world. So this conversation today is about an inside-out abundance, an abundance that is magnetized to who we are and what we are doing and what we are here to develop or to grow or to share. So it's a different conversation. I mean, for bankers, they might be thinking, well, it's about the doing. And this is where I want to bring in another dimension to this story. So let's think about the money frames of mind. We can have a lot of money, but we can be feeling lack from the inside out, in which case the money manifests, but it quickly goes out on wrong deals, health issues, whatever. It just comes and it goes, and it's not sticking. Or shopping. Shopping is a good way for it to go too. And there is another way where money comes in, because we are feeling so filled up on the inside that actually money is just magnetized to us, and there's no way it's going to go, because when it goes, more is coming. So the mentality then from the inside is that of abundance rather than a mentality of lack. And the mentality of abundance comes from an appreciation of all the abundance that currently exists in our life. And that begins with us from the inside out, that we are feeling whole in what we have in the world, in the abundance of stars, in the abundance of sunshine, in the abundance of flowers, in the abundance of Mother Nature, in the abundance of kindness, in the abundance of information, in the abundance of beauty, an abundance of joy, an abundance of time. How often do we have a lot of money but no time, and then we're feeling poor inside somehow? So this conversation is about that abundance that we want to feel from the inside out. The abundance that basically on its own generates the outer abundance that we might need to do what we're here to do, essentially, to have the resources to grow our business and to grow our message and to share what we have within us, whether as an artist, as a cook, as a healer, however way we choose to bring out what's within us that we feel is here to have full expression in the world. So what we want to do is we want to catch the thoughts, because it all begins with the thoughts. So the thoughts are either thoughts of abundance or they're thoughts of lack. Thoughts of lack are thoughts of it's going to run out, I need to hoard. And the hoarding is not just on the physical level. It's not just a hoarding of material things. It tends to be a hoarding of emotions as well, and a hoarding of kindness, a hoarding of giving out compliments, or a hoarding of... It's a big gamut of hoarding. And that hoarding mentality tends to get caught by life. So if somewhere we have held back on giving, on helping, on being of service, what happens is life sends us a paycheck in the form of a utility bill, or a health bill, or a home bill, or some sort of bill will show up, equating to the exact amount we might have used to help out and do good. And so life encourages a very natural flow of money, basically. It encourages a mentality of abundance, where we give from our heart, where we share from our heart, and where that abundance grows as a result of the uplifting it is offering. So the idea is to catch the thoughts and to give the thoughts back to life, and to choose thoughts of abundance, to choose thoughts that feel good to us, because it feels good to give. It feels good to give of ourselves. It feels good to give of our kindness. It feels good to give of our resources. It feels good to give what we have. This is that natural flow that we want to encourage, and where the abundance worked on from the inside out manifests in the form of an abundance that is very concrete, very solid, and very expansive in the world. Very, very much an abundance that can spread beyond us, our physical being, and into a lot of different areas out there. So in my own training, I have come across a few books that have been very helpful in changing neighborhoods. I remember Sonia Choquette once saying it's a matter of changing neighborhoods in the mind and moving to that neighborhood of abundance. And since it all begins with the mind, in order to create it internally, it is important to read about this, because we tend to, when we come into the world, we tend to feel this quite naturally. We feel the abundance with life. We feel so connected to life. We feel so in sync with it all. And what happens is we sometimes move into that space of feeling quite separate, like we have to take care of us. And that creates those fear mentalities relating to subject as big and as important as money, which in the end is essentially energy, because energy draws to it its like, and that's why abundance energy draws more abundance, whereas a fear energy, an energy of lack, tends to push the money away. It just goes. So even something as simple as shopping can be as simple as we don't feel we really deserve it, so we find a quick way to offload it. So essentially it's It's really a matter of understanding, of analyzing the internal gamut and why we are wanting the money we want and what it is that this money represents. Because the self-worth comes from the inside out. Nothing on the outside can actually offer self-worth. And that is something I talk a lot about in my book, in terms of not the perfect partner, not the perfect house, not the perfect anything on the outside will ever fill us up from the inside. And it is the filling up on the inside that is the energy in sync dance that we want with life, where money becomes just part of that equation and part of the big abundance picture, which is all sorts of abundance that is occurring in our life. So some of the books that I found really helpful were Florence Scovel Shinn. She wrote a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And I find that a fantastic shifter. I think she's the genius shifter from fear thoughts to love thoughts. And so not just on this subject, but on any subject. It's a really, this is her a complete work. So it's got other books of hers on there as well. But even if you start with just The Game of Life and How to Change It, that's already a huge sort of new way of thinking about the world, about life, about money too. Now, a lot of you, I'm sure, have heard of The Secret. There are loads of YouTube videos on The Secret. Oprah believes in The Secret. Everybody believes in what The Secret is saying. And it turns out that this book was the inspiration to The Secret. And this is a book by Wallace Wattles called The Science of Getting Rich. And this book is very interesting because this book is about molding our life. So he looks at it like plasticine, where you get to mold it the way you want it. And everything that we want, everything that we are looking for is actually important for us in terms of us being a self-actualized space where we can be the full version of us and do the best that we can do in the world. So it's a really good book because he's on a mission to get you there as quickly as possible. And he makes the wanting and the desiring and the creating in that very, very believable to you, because it's part of your journey. You are here to have it all so that you can do everything you're here to do and create everything you're here to create. So good book. Emmett Fox. I love Emmett Fox. I recommend reading anything and everything by Emmett Fox. But this is a really good one. It's a little book, Stake Your Claim, very short, very, very good. Brilliant. Brilliant book. Stake Your Claim, Emmett Fox. Next, Catherine Ponder, whom I discovered in Paris. And this is the Open Your Mind to Receive book. And this is an interesting receiving is a very interesting part of the equation, because are we feeling in that space where we are, yes, life, bring it on? Are we comfortable with the receiving? Are we comfortable with the receiving of compliments? Are we comfortable with the receiving of help? Are we comfortable with the receiving of open doors? Are we comfortable with receiving? Because that is a big part of the money equation too. And that is one of the ways where we invite the abundance into our life, where we're like, yes, life, bring it on. I'm ready. Let's go. And so I like the fact that she highlights this in this book. She has other books. She's brilliant, Catherine Ponder. I think her, Emmett Fox, and Florence Scovel Shinn are all from the same sort of era. And this was sort of the beginning of the whole our thoughts create our world kind of thinking. So metaphysics, development of metaphysics, good book. Receiving, keep that in mind. Receive with pleasure, accept the gifts, enjoy the gifts. This is my most recent discovery, and it's the same color as my top. Angels of Abundance, and this is by Doreen Virtue, who a lot of you might know as the Angel Lady, and she does these beautiful card decks of angels and fairies, and they're actually very good. Oracles, they're really good. This is a great book, and it's a great reminder if for a while you've been studying the laws of the universe and you know about the power of words and imagination and visions, but for some reason you've slipped off a little bit, it's a great reminder. She really hones in on some of the points that I think are very, very important. Like she talks about affirmations, for instance, and she reminds us that there's a lag period. So if we've been affirming for a while and it's coming through, everything we want is showing up, we can't just stop, because then there's another lag period until we start again. And so I think this is a great reminder for this way of thinking, for this abundance mentality way of thinking. Good book, Doreen Virtue, Angels of Abundance. It's quite a recent book, actually, so I think very, very findable. So this is my little book library on this subject. I love my books, as a lot of you know. At the end of my book, I have a whole bunch of book suggestions. I'm all about my books, so I'm sure we'll be talking much more about books in the future. But I thought this was an important subject, and it's just a subject we want to be comfortable with. And I remember Kate Northrup wrote a book last year with a beautiful title, Money, a Love Story, and I thought that's a great title to bring us out from that place where we're, shy about this subject, to a place where no, we are feeling very comfortable with money, and we want it for all the right purposes, and we want to bring it into our world to use it for good and to help others, and to bring out all the creativity that is within us, that feels so good to share. So, inside out abundance. Remember, the abundance comes from the inside, and the abundance is every single blessing that exists in our life. And that inside abundance creates the outside abundance. So, inside out abundance. On this lovely note, I wish you a super abundant day. Until the next conversation. Bye.